The galaxy was vast and full of civilizations that had long believed themselves unstoppable. Mighty empires ruled thousands of star systems, and alien fleets patrolled the spaceways with confidence. They had fought countless wars, crushing rivals and expanding their territories, each believing they were the ultimate power. To them, humanity was nothing more than a small, insignificant species, confined to a quiet, blue planet on the edge of a barely noticed spiral arm. On Earth, life seemed ordinary. Cities bustled with people going about their daily lives. Governments debated policies, and scientists worked in laboratories. To the rest of the galaxy, humanity appeared unremarkable. But beneath the surface, humans had been quietly growing stronger. They had faced challenges that tested their endurance and intelligence for centuries: environmental disasters, conflicts, and global crises, and had survived them all. These trials had shaped humanity into a species that was adaptable, resilient, and capable of thinking in ways that others could not predict. Deep in orbit, hidden from prying eyes, a massive warship drifted silently. The USS Resolute was unlike anything the galaxy had seen. Its construction had been a secret, the result of decades of planning, innovation, and collaboration. Every system on board, from its engines to its weapons to its shields, had been designed to give humans an edge in a universe that had long underestimated them. But this ship was more than just a collection of metal and technology. It embodied human ingenuity, courage, and unity, the qualities that no alien empire had fully understood. The leaders of the galaxy, comfortable in their own power, laughed at rumors of human advancement. Occasionally, whispers reached them of strange engines capable of faster-than-light travel, or weapons that could disrupt entire fleets. Most dismissed these tales as exaggerations, myths spread by paranoid scientists or travelers seeking fame. To them, Earth was a minor player, easily contained if necessary. They did not imagine that a single human warship could challenge their entire understanding of power. Far from the galaxy's gaze, Earth's military intelligence monitored the stars with quiet determination. Sensors scanned for potential threats, and analysts studied the movements of alien fleets. Among them, a border dispute had recently flared in a system near the edge of known space. A coalition of alien races had sent a fleet to intimidate the local planets, demonstrating the dominance they believed was unquestionable. To the humans observing from afar, the coalition was confident, perhaps overconfident, and this presented an opportunity. In the command room of the Resolute, the captain studied the tactical displays with calm focus. Officers moved efficiently, communicating in precise terms as they prepared for a mission that would change everything. Unlike the aliens, humans did not rely solely on the size of their ships or the number of weapons. They relied on strategy, adaptability, and the ability to turn the unexpected into an advantage. Every member of the crew understood that their strength lay in thinking differently, in using creativity to overcome limitations. As the coalition fleet approached the contested system, the aliens discussed their plans with casual arrogance. Their largest ships loomed like titans, bristling with weapons that had crushed countless enemies. Commanders boasted to one another, confident that the humans they had been monitoring would never pose a real threat. They were wrong. Without warning, the void of space before the coalition fleet shimmered, and a massive vessel appeared. The USS Resolute had arrived, emerging from hyperspace with quiet precision. Its presence alone was enough to disrupt the coalition's communications. Alien sensors, unprepared for its size and technology, struggled to identify its capabilities. The ship moved smoothly, with engines and shields unlike anything the aliens had encountered. The humans did not strike immediately. Instead, they demonstrated their superiority in the simplest but most effective way, through action and strategy. The Resolute maneuvered gracefully between the alien ships, avoiding their weapons while observing weaknesses in their formations. Human pilots anticipated every movement, and officers coordinated attacks with flawless timing. Small teams carried out surgical strikes against critical points on enemy vessels, disabling them without unnecessary destruction. Alien admirals watched in disbelief. Their prideful boasts of invincibility had been shattered in moments. The weapons that had destroyed countless fleets across centuries barely made a dent in the Resolute's defenses. Every attempt to respond was countered with precision, leaving the Coalition fleet in confusion. The aliens could not understand how one ship could move so unpredictably, yet with perfect coordination. On the bridge of the Resolute, the captain remained calm. He did not speak of pride or glory. Instead, he focused on the mission protecting humanity's interests and demonstrating what humans were capable of. The crew worked together seamlessly, each person contributing to the greater goal. They repaired systems on the fly, adapted strategies instantly, and maintained a level of efficiency the aliens could not imagine. As the battle unfolded, small victories accumulated. Alien ships that had once seemed invincible were disabled or forced to retreat. The humans used clever tactics that leveraged their understanding of physics, strategy, and psychology. They created illusions to mislead the enemy, used decoys to divide forces, and struck at the most vulnerable points with devastating effect. Every move demonstrated not just power, but intelligence and ingenuity. Word of the encounter spread quickly, first through intelligence networks and then across the galaxy. Reports described the humans' capabilities with astonishment and disbelief. A single warship had shattered the illusions of centuries. Former skeptics began to reconsider their assumptions about Earth. What had once been seen as a backwater planet now became a source of fascination and fear. Meanwhile, humans on Earth continued their preparations. They knew the galaxy would not remain unaware for long. Every scientist, engineer, and officer understood that their work represented the future of their species. They were not seeking to conquer, but to defend and assert humanity's place in the universe. The Resolute was a symbol of that determination, a demonstration that humans could stand against powers that had long dismissed them. Back in the contested system, the Coalition fleet struggled to regroup. Their commanders attempted to coordinate a response, but the experience had shaken their confidence. For the first time, they realized that their assumptions about humans were dangerously wrong. They had underestimated not just technology, but the creativity, resilience, and adaptability of an entire species. The Resolute, meanwhile, held position with quiet authority. Its sensors scanned the remnants of the alien fleet, ready for any move but not seeking unnecessary confrontation. The humans demonstrated control, not through aggression alone, but through strategic brilliance. They showed that power was not simply about size or firepower. It was about intelligence, cooperation, and the ability to act decisively when the moment demanded. As night fell on Earth, people went about their lives, unaware of the monumental shift occurring in the stars above. The humans aboard the Resolute represented the culmination of generations of learning, survival, and innovation. They were a reminder that even the smallest, most overlooked species could change the balance of power in the galaxy. The battle in the contested system would be remembered as the beginning of a new era. The galaxy had believed it ruled unchallenged, but humanity's quiet strength had shattered that belief. What followed next would determine whether the galaxy would respect humans or continue to dismiss them at its peril. For now, however, the USS Resolute drifted silently among the stars, a testament to human ingenuity and a warning to anyone who assumed that Earth was powerless. The crew prepared for what lay ahead, aware that the galaxy was watching and that every decision they made would shape the future of their species. In that moment, humans proved what they had always known: that intelligence, courage, and unity could accomplish what brute force alone never could. The galaxy had been deceived by appearances, and the humans of Earth were ready to ensure that no one would underestimate them again. The alien coalition had barely recovered from the shock of seeing the Resolute appear in their space when the humans began to demonstrate the true extent of their capabilities. The coalition fleet, confident in their overwhelming numbers, had believed that Earth's defenses were primitive at best. They had expected to intimidate or even destroy a handful of human ships. Yet here stood the USS Resolute, larger than anything they had anticipated, moving with fluid precision and seemingly unassailable. Sensors on the alien vessels struggled to track its movements. Every time they thought they had locked onto the Resolute, it shifted direction, changing speed, and angle in ways their computers could barely predict. Alien commanders barked orders, but their crews could not keep up. The human ship's energy shields absorbed their most powerful attacks with minimal impact, while its weapon systems targeted weak points with terrifying accuracy. The Coalition fleet had faced advanced enemies before, but nothing like this. On the bridge of the Resolute, the captain observed the enemy fleet with calm focus. His officers worked efficiently, communicating silently through advanced interfaces and hand signals. Every action was coordinated, every decision backed by data and experience. Unlike the alien commanders, who relied on brute force and intimidation, the humans thought several steps ahead, anticipating moves before they happened. The battle began with subtlety. Instead of launching a full assault immediately, the Resolute moved in patterns designed to confuse and divide the enemy. Small squads of fighter drones deployed from the ship, darting between alien vessels like swarms of lightning. These drones did not merely attack, they created illusions, forcing the enemy to miscalculate and waste firepower on empty space. One by one, alien ships found themselves vulnerable. The humans targeted critical systems, engines, communications arrays, and weapon turrets with surgical precision. Entire squadrons were immobilized before they could respond effectively. The Coalition's confidence began to crumble. For the first time, they realized that this was not a normal human ship, and these were not ordinary humans. They were facing a species capable of strategy and creativity on a scale they had not imagined. The aliens attempted a coordinated counterattack, bringing their most powerful ships forward. Energy beams lanced through space, and missiles streaked toward the Resolute. But the human crew had anticipated this. The ship maneuvered with elegance, weaving through the deadly fire with near-perfect timing. Shields adapted dynamically, absorbing energy from the beams and redirecting it to power other systems. The humans had turned the alien strength into a weakness. In the chaos, a small alien destroyer broke formation, hoping to flank the Resolute. Human sensors detected the maneuver instantly. Within moments, the ship's automated targeting systems locked onto the destroyer, and a carefully timed strike disabled its engines. The destroyer drifted, helpless, as its crew tried to comprehend what had happened. One by one, the Coalition's ships fell into similar traps, each defeat demonstrating the humans' tactical brilliance. Communication networks aboard the alien ships began to falter. Messages were delayed or scrambled. Orders from admirals failed to reach frontline commanders. Confusion spread like wildfire. The humans had anticipated this too, deploying electronic countermeasures that disrupted enemy signals while leaving their own systems untouched. To the Coalition fleet, the Resolute seemed almost alive, anticipating every move, reacting before attacks could be launched, and striking with precision where it hurt most. Despite the mounting losses, some alien commanders refused to retreat. Pride and arrogance compelled them to continue the fight. They believed sheer numbers would eventually overwhelm the humans, but the crew of the Resolute knew that victory was not about size, it was about adaptability, cooperation, and intelligence. Using clever maneuvers and exploiting the enemy's rigid tactics, the humans continued to dismantle the Coalition fleet systematically. A major turning point came when the alien Coalition tried to concentrate fire on the Resolute's front shields. Humans anticipated this, redirecting power from secondary systems to reinforce the shields while simultaneously launching a counterstrike at the enemy's command ship. Within minutes, the alien command vessel was disabled, its crew unable to coordinate the remaining forces. Without leadership, the Coalition fleet descended into disorder. Across the galaxy, reports of the battle began to circulate. Observers from distant systems could hardly believe what they were seeing. A single human warship had shattered the Coalition's illusions of invincibility. The humans had demonstrated not just technological superiority, but a capacity for strategy and adaptation that rivaled or surpassed entire alien civilizations. Back on the Resolute, the crew remained focused. They did not celebrate prematurely. Every officer understood that a single misstep could be costly. Even for a ship as advanced as theirs, the humans worked seamlessly, repairing minor damage, recalibrating weapons, and preparing for any unexpected moves. Each action reinforced a simple truth. They were not merely fighting with machines, they were fighting with intelligence, creativity, and unity. The aliens, on the other hand, struggled to regroup. Many had never encountered an enemy capable of thinking in such unpredictable ways. Their attempts at counter-strategies failed repeatedly. Some began to question their assumptions about humans, realizing too late that they had underestimated a species that could adapt faster than they could calculate. Fear replaced arrogance, and panic spread among the crews. In a bold maneuver, the Resolute deployed a series of decoy ships that mimicked its appearance. The alien fleet, already disoriented, could not tell the real ship from the illusions. Their weapons struck harmlessly at empty voids, while the human crew struck vital systems elsewhere. One by one, alien ships were forced to withdraw or surrender. The coalition's power, once considered absolute, had been shattered by the precision and ingenuity of humans. The captain of the Resolute issued orders calmly, aware that every move was observed by the galaxy. They needed to demonstrate not just power, but control and discipline. Human crews worked tirelessly, executing complex maneuvers that left the enemy scrambling. Every ship disabled, every strategy anticipated, and every victory achieved reinforced the lesson: humans could not be underestimated. As the battle drew to a close, the coalition fleet was in full retreat. The remaining ships limped away, damaged and demoralized. Alien admirals realized they had misjudged their opponent, and the reports they would send back to their home systems carried a warning. Earth was not a minor species. Humans possessed skills, strategies, and technology that could challenge even the most dominant powers. On the Resolute, the crew allowed themselves a moment of quiet satisfaction. They had not merely defended a border system, they had sent a clear message to the galaxy. Humans were not insignificant. They were intelligent, resourceful, and united in ways the aliens had not expected. The battle had proven that size and history alone did not determine supremacy. Even after the fighting ended, the galaxy buzzed with the news of the Resolute's victory. Scholars, politicians, and military leaders began to reassess their understanding of Earth. No longer could humans be dismissed as primitive or weak. A single ship had demonstrated that intelligence, creativity, and teamwork could rival and even surpass the combined strength of powerful alien fleets. Meanwhile, humans continued their work quietly. They did not seek glory or revenge. Their goal was protection and preparation for the challenges that lay ahead. The crew of the Resolute knew that this battle was only the beginning. Across the stars, civilizations would take note, and the humans of Earth would have to be ready for whatever came next. In the aftermath, the aliens who survived the encounter were left to wonder how one species had achieved what seemed impossible. The coalition had relied on fear, strength, and experience, but the humans had relied on intelligence, creativity, and unity. The lesson was clear. Underestimating humans was a mistake that no civilization could afford to make again. As the USS Resolute returned to Earth's orbit, the planet itself seemed calm and ordinary, unaware of the monumental impact the ship's actions had made in distant star systems. For the humans aboard, the victory was not just about survival. It was about proving that their species could rise to challenges that no one else could anticipate. The galaxy had been shown that humans were no longer a backwater civilization but a force capable of shaping the future of the stars. The crew prepared for the next steps. They knew the aliens would regroup, study, and adapt, but the humans had shown that adaptability and intelligence were their greatest strengths. The battle had proven that even the most dominant powers could be challenged, and that determination, courage, and cooperation could overcome what seemed impossible. In the quiet of space, the USS Resolute drifted with a sense of purpose. It was more than a warship. It was a symbol of humanity's resilience and ingenuity. The galaxy had believed it ruled supreme, but Earth's warship had shattered that illusion. The humans had shown the universe that power was not measured solely by size or history, but by the ability to think, adapt, and act together. And so, the first true lesson of human strength was complete. The coalition had retreated, the galaxy had watched, and humanity had proven itself in a way no one could ignore. But the story was far from over. Across the stars, leaders began to prepare, and humans knew that the next challenge would be even greater. For now, though, the crew of the Resolute allowed themselves a brief moment of reflection. They had achieved something remarkable, not through arrogance, not through recklessness, but through intelligence, planning, and cooperation. Humans had shown the galaxy that the age of underestimating Earth was over. The galaxy had been shaken, and the humans of Earth had only just begun to demonstrate the full extent of their potential. The shock of the Resolute's victory rippled across the galaxy. For decades, empires and coalitions had relied on their overwhelming power, confident that no minor species could challenge them. Now, their assumptions were shattered. Alien governments convened emergency councils, trying to understand how one human warship had dismantled a fleet they had believed invincible. Scholars, military leaders, and diplomats debated the implications. The name Earth, that had once been whispered dismissively, now carried weight, curiosity, and a hint of fear. Back on Earth, humans did not celebrate. They understood that victory in one battle did not guarantee safety in the stars. The Resolute had proven their point, but it had also announced humanity's presence. Every empire that had once ignored Earth would now begin to study them, seeking weaknesses and plotting countermeasures. The human leaders were ready. They had prepared for this moment for decades, and the galaxy would soon learn that humans did not rely on intimidation. They relied on intelligence, strategy, and unity. In the weeks following the battle, reports of the Resolute's actions spread across multiple systems. Traders, travelers, and communication networks carried accounts of the humans' clever tactics, their unpredictable maneuvers, and their ability to dismantle the alien fleet with minimal casualties. In response, the coalition that had attacked the contested system attempted to regroup. They gathered reinforcements, tested new technologies, and trained their crews for an encounter with humans, hoping to redeem their reputation. Yet the more the aliens studied humans, the more they realized how difficult their challenge would be. The human approach to warfare was unlike anything the galaxy had seen. It was not about overwhelming firepower or brute force. It was about adaptability, problem-solving, and cooperation. Humans anticipated threats, improvised solutions, and took risks that their enemies could not predict. Every encounter highlighted a truth that alien commanders struggled to accept. Humans were a species capable of redefining the rules of engagement. Humanity's response was methodical. They did not rush to attack or assert dominance aggressively. Instead, they focused on strengthening alliances, offering protection to civilizations that had once been threatened by the coalition, and demonstrating that humans could be allies, not conquerors. On planets bordering the coalition's influence, humans deployed advisors, engineers, and defense specialists, helping local populations build technology and strategies to protect themselves. The message was clear. Earth was strong, capable, and willing to act, but not indiscriminately. The aliens, however, were not passive observers. They attempted to use diplomacy to understand humanity, sending emissaries to Earth and to nearby systems. Some hoped to strike alliances before the humans became an unstoppable force. Others sought to exploit perceived weaknesses. Yet even in diplomacy, humans excelled. They negotiated with clarity, intelligence, and foresight, setting conditions that favored their species while offering opportunities for mutual benefit. Alien diplomats left bewildered, realizing that their previous assumptions about humans of simplicity, primitiveness, or naivety were false. Meanwhile, the USS Resolute prepared for a new set of challenges. Its systems were upgraded, its crew trained for even more complex scenarios, and simulations tested them against theoretical alien tactics. The ship had proven itself in battle, but humans knew the galaxy would adapt. They would face more powerful fleets, new strategies, and enemies who would not repeat past mistakes. The crew worked tirelessly, understanding that the first victory was just the beginning of a long, strategic campaign for survival and respect. A new confrontation arose near a star system rich in resources and strategically located. Multiple alien fleets, having recovered from their initial defeat, moved to assert control over the region. They believed that, if they could dominate this system, they could restore their reputation and demonstrate that humans were not invincible. But humans anticipated their arrival. Scouts and satellites had monitored movements, and humans had prepared defensive plans tailored to the unique environment of the system. When the fleets arrived, they were met with precision strikes from the Resolute. Humans did not charge blindly into battle. They used terrain asteroid fields, planetary gravity wells, and radiation belts to their advantage. Alien ships, relying on conventional tactics, struggled to navigate the hazards while under fire. Humans exploited every weakness, turning environmental features into strategic assets. Ships that had once been symbols of power were disabled without even the need for full engagement. The aliens tried to coordinate massive attacks, combining their ships into tight formations. They assumed this would overwhelm the humans, as it had with other species. But the Resolute and its accompanying human forces were not predictable. They split the alien formations, used feints and decoys, and struck at command and control nodes. Within hours, the alien fleets were scattered, their cohesion broken. For many commanders, it was the most humiliating defeat of their careers. On the bridge of the Resolute, officers analyzed every move. They refined tactics in real time, adapting to unexpected maneuvers and responding to threats before they fully materialized. The humans' greatest weapon was not just technology, it was their ability to think, learn, and cooperate under pressure. Each crew member contributed their expertise, and the ship itself acted almost like an extension of their collective intelligence. Across the galaxy, civilizations took notice. Traders and explorers shared stories of the humans' strategic brilliance. Scholars debated the implications. Governments that had ignored Earth for centuries suddenly faced a stark choice: recognize humans as a serious power or risk being unprepared for the next confrontation. Humanity's reputation grew not because of fear, but because of undeniable skill, courage, and discipline. For the humans themselves, the victories were instructive, not celebratory. They analyzed each encounter to improve tactics, repair systems, and strengthen alliances. Every encounter highlighted the importance of preparation, intelligence, and flexibility. The galaxy was vast, and they understood that being underestimated once did not guarantee future safety. The humans' approach combined defense with opportunity: protect their species, assist allies, and prepare for the unknown. One of the most remarkable aspects of the human strategy was their emphasis on minimizing unnecessary destruction. Unlike many alien powers, humans did not seek to annihilate enemies for pride or revenge. They disabled ships, neutralized threats, and preserved resources whenever possible. This approach further unsettled alien observers. It was a combination of power and wisdom that alien leaders had rarely encountered. Humans could strike decisively, yet they exercised restraint when it served a greater purpose. A critical turning point came when an alien fleet attempted a surprise attack on a human-aligned planet. Using a combination of long-range sensors and predictive simulations, the Resolute anticipated the ambush. The humans deployed drones, navigated asteroid belts, and executed tactical maneuvers that made the alien plan collapse. The attackers lost ships and were forced to retreat. While the planet's population saw humanity's protection firsthand, the message was clear. Humans did not fight for conquest. They fought for survival, strategy, and justice. The success of these campaigns had consequences beyond immediate battles. Nearby civilizations began to shift their loyalties. Some sought alliances with humans, recognizing the benefits of protection and shared intelligence. Others reconsidered their positions, hesitant to provoke a species that had demonstrated the ability to dismantle fleets and outthink empires. Earth's influence expanded not through aggression, but through a combination of intelligence, strategy, and moral clarity. In the aftermath of these encounters, humans also focused on learning from their enemies. Captured technology, communications, and data provided insight into alien strategies and weaknesses. Humans did not seek to exploit purely for dominance. They used the information to improve defenses, enhance tactics, and anticipate future challenges. Their approach was proactive, not reactive, and it further distinguished them from civilizations that relied solely on power or tradition. The USS Resolute became a symbol across human-aligned systems. It represented not just military capability, but the values of intelligence, unity, and adaptability. Civilizations once indifferent to Earth now looked to humans as allies and protectors. For humans, this symbol was a reminder of what could be achieved through ingenuity, preparation, and coordinated action. They had not sought glory, they had demonstrated competence, courage, and strategic vision. As humans continued to expand influence, the galaxy began to see a pattern. Species that underestimated Earth suffered setbacks. Those who observed humans with respect and willingness to cooperate found opportunities for growth and protection. Humanity was reshaping galactic politics, not through conquest, but through intelligence, strategy, and unity. The Resolute's victories were the catalyst for this transformation, proving that even one determined species could alter the balance of power. The aliens who had once dismissed humans now faced a sobering reality. They realized that underestimating Earth was no longer an option. Humans had shown adaptability, creativity, and the ability to turn disadvantage into advantage. Every encounter reinforced a truth that alien leaders could not ignore. Humans were not just another species, they were a force capable of shaping the galaxy itself. On Earth, leaders, scientists, and strategists continued their work. They did not seek to dominate, but to prepare. They knew that the galaxy would adapt, and new challenges would emerge. Humanity's strength was not merely technological, it was intellectual, strategic, and cooperative. Each step reinforced the principle that a species united by ingenuity and resilience could face even the most powerful adversaries. The success of the Resolute's missions strengthened human confidence without fostering arrogance. Officers, scientists, and civilians understood the importance of humility, preparation, and continuous learning. They knew the galaxy was vast, unpredictable, and full of potential threats. Yet they also understood that they had proven something crucial. Humans were no longer a species to be ignored, and even the greatest powers would have to reconsider their assumptions. By the end of the campaigns in the contested systems, humanity had demonstrated that it could protect allies, outthink enemies, and expand influence without unnecessary aggression. The galaxy began to recognize that intelligence, strategy, and cooperation were just as formidable as brute force. Humans had not only survived, they had reshaped perceptions, challenged assumptions, and established themselves as a power to be respected. For the crew of the Resolute, the work was far from finished. They had won battles, protected allies, and shattered illusions. But the galaxy remained vast, full of civilizations with unknown capabilities and unpredictable intentions. Humans understood that each victory was a lesson, each encounter an opportunity to improve. Their goal was clear: remain vigilant, protect their species, and continue to demonstrate that intelligence, unity, and courage could overcome even the most dominant forces. And so, as stars stretched endlessly around them, the humans aboard the USS Resolute prepared for the next stage of their mission. They had changed the galaxy's perception of Earth, but their journey had only just begun. The galaxy had begun to take notice, and the humans of Earth were ready to continue proving that they were a species not to be underestimated. The galaxy was changing, and humans were at the center of that transformation. After the Resolute's victories, and the subsequent campaigns to protect allies and expand influence, civilizations began to view Earth not as a backwater planet, but as a serious power. Alien leaders, who had once dismissed humans with arrogance, now approached with caution. Some were fearful, some curious, and others determined to study this species that had challenged their assumptions and defeated fleets they believed unbeatable. On Earth, humanity continued to prepare. They did not seek domination, nor did they celebrate victories with pride. Their focus remained on vigilance, learning, and protection. Scientists developed new technology based on lessons learned from encounters with alien fleets. Engineers improved ships for adaptability and speed, and strategists planned for future engagements that could occur anywhere in the galaxy. Humanity's strength lay not just in what they had accomplished, but in their ability to anticipate what was to come. The USS Resolute became a symbol across human and allied systems. It was more than a warship, it was proof that humans could act decisively and intelligently. Stories of its tactics, strategies, and victories spread far and wide. Populations on allied planets looked to the Resolute as a protector, a demonstration that intelligence, unity, and courage could safeguard civilizations against far stronger opponents. In the halls of alien governments, its name became a warning: underestimate humans at your own peril. A coalition of alien powers, still wary from previous encounters, attempted to test humanity's reach. They sent envoys with offers of alliances, weapons deals, and trade treaties, seeking to form partnerships that could secure their own survival and maintain influence in the galaxy. Humans approached each offer with careful consideration. They did not rush into agreements, but neither did they dismiss opportunities to create bonds with civilizations that respected intelligence and cooperation. Diplomacy became another battlefield, where human foresight, clarity, and fairness impressed even the most cautious alien leaders. Despite these diplomatic victories, challenges remained. Some civilizations viewed humans as a threat to their dominance. Secret fleets moved through uncharted regions, attempting ambushes or sabotage. Humans responded with precision, using reconnaissance, intelligence, and strategy rather than brute force. Every encounter reinforced a pattern. Humans could anticipate moves, adapt quickly, and strike decisively when necessary. Unlike other empires, humans valued lives and stability, choosing to disable enemies rather than destroy indiscriminately. In one of the most significant confrontations, a massive alien fleet attempted to blockade a human-aligned planet rich in rare resources. The fleet was larger and better equipped than any humans had faced before. And for a moment, the scale of the challenge was daunting. Yet the Resolute and its accompanying ships moved with coordinated efficiency. Humans exploited the terrain of the system, hiding in asteroid fields, using gravitational anomalies, and deploying decoys. They disrupted communications, intercepted reinforcements, and dismantled the blockade piece by piece. The alien commanders could not comprehend how a species they had considered primitive had managed such precision. Every strike, every maneuver, seemed almost preemptive. Humans did not rely on numbers or sheer power. They relied on strategy, observation, and flexibility. Alien ships were disabled systematically. And by the end of the engagement, the blockade was broken, the planet safe, and the humans' reputation further solidified. The galaxy watched. Across trade networks, communication relays, and observation posts, civilizations recorded what had happened. For some, fear grew. For others, admiration and curiosity flourished. Humans had demonstrated a fundamental truth. Intelligence, cooperation, and adaptability could challenge even the most dominant empires. The lesson was clear. Power was not measured only by size or history, but by the ability to think, plan, and act together with precision. As humans continued to expand influence, they also focused on strengthening alliances. Planetary systems that had once been vulnerable to the coalition's pressure now felt secure under human guidance. Scientists and engineers shared knowledge, helping allies develop defenses, technology, and strategies. Military advisors trained local forces in tactics that prioritized coordination and efficiency. The goal was not to rule, but to empower. Humans understood that true influence came not from fear, but from respect and capability. The aliens who had once laughed at humanity were forced to reconsider their strategies. Some attempted to create new weapons or fleets, hoping to regain lost prestige. Others attempted espionage, seeking weaknesses in human systems. Yet the humans' greatest advantage remained their ability to adapt. Every new challenge was met with observation, analysis, and creative problem-solving. Humans learned from encounters, refined tactics, and turned potential disadvantages into strengths. It was not mere luck, it was the result of careful planning, intelligence, and collaboration. Meanwhile, within human society, the emphasis remained on unity and purpose. Civilians and military personnel alike understood that the galaxy was vast and unpredictable. They valued education, training, and innovation, recognizing that the greatest victories came from preparation and adaptability. The experiences of the Resolute had demonstrated the potential of humans to challenge even the most formidable forces, but they also taught the importance of humility and strategic thinking. One of the most notable consequences of humanity's rising influence was a shift in galactic politics. Civilizations that had once competed for dominance began to reconsider their alliances and strategies. Some sought partnership with humans, recognizing the advantages of cooperation. Others adopted more cautious postures, unwilling to provoke a species capable of dismantling entire fleets with precision and foresight. In every sector, the presence of humans had become a factor that could not be ignored. A symbolic event marked this transformation. A gathering of leaders from human-aligned systems and former coalition members was held to discuss shared interests and strategies for mutual protection. The humans did not demand submission or control. They spoke with clarity, offering guidance, insight, and fair agreements. Alien leaders were impressed. They recognized that humanity's strength lay not just in its technological prowess, but in its wisdom, discipline, and ability to unite diverse groups toward common goals. Through these interactions, humans reshaped the narrative of power in the galaxy. No longer were they seen as weak or insignificant. They were respected as strategic thinkers, protectors, and capable leaders. Civilizations that aligned with humans gained confidence and security, while those who underestimated them risked isolation or conflict. Humanity had demonstrated that leadership and influence could be achieved not through fear alone, but through competence, foresight, and ethical decision-making. Even in the farthest reaches of the galaxy, whispers of Earth and the Resolute reached alien academies, councils, and fleets. Reports detailed the humans' victories, their ingenuity, and their approach to strategy. Scholars debated their methods, military leaders studied their tactics, and some civilizations began to emulate human approaches. The lesson was universal. Underestimating humans could lead to defeat, but understanding and respecting them opened opportunities for cooperation and growth. Amid these developments, the humans themselves remained grounded. They continued to explore, to learn, and to prepare. Every engagement, every negotiation, and every challenge was a chance to refine skills and expand understanding. The Resolute, as the flagship of human ingenuity, represented more than firepower. It symbolized intelligence, cooperation, and the capacity to turn adversity into advantage. It was a constant reminder that humans had proven themselves capable of shaping the galaxy. The final turning point came when an alliance of previously skeptical civilizations sought formal partnership with Earth. They recognized that humanity's influence was stabilizing regions of the galaxy and providing protection that benefited all. These civilizations offered shared knowledge, access to resources, and collaboration in scientific endeavors. Humans accepted these partnerships with careful negotiation, ensuring that alliances were based on mutual respect and benefit rather than coercion. By the time the Resolute returned to Earth after these campaigns, the galaxy had fundamentally changed. Humans had demonstrated that even a species once dismissed as insignificant could rise to prominence through intelligence, creativity, and unity. Civilizations across sectors acknowledged Earth as a power to be respected, not feared blindly, but certainly not underestimated. Humanity's message was clear. They did not seek to dominate through terror, but they would protect their interests and allies with unmatched precision and strategy. In the quiet of orbit above Earth, the crew of the Resolute reflected on what had been achieved. They had fought battles, protected allies, and reshaped the perceptions of entire civilizations. Yet they understood that vigilance remained essential. The galaxy was vast, unpredictable, and full of unknown threats. Humans had proven themselves, but they would continue to prepare, adapt, and grow stronger with every challenge. The final lesson of this era was unmistakable. The galaxy had once believed it ruled supreme. It had assumed that humans were insignificant and powerless. But Earth's warship had shattered those illusions. Humanity had shown that intelligence, adaptability, cooperation, and courage could surpass even the most dominant forces. The universe had witnessed a species that could turn strategy and foresight into power greater than size or legacy. As humans looked toward the stars, they understood their place in the galaxy. They were no longer passive observers. They were participants, protectors, and innovators. The experiences of the Resolute had proven that determination and ingenuity were as vital as strength and weaponry. Humanity had earned the right to be respected, and they intended to maintain it, not through fear, but through intelligence, unity, and the courage to face any challenge. And so, the galaxy learned a truth that would endure. Never underestimate humans. Even the smallest planet, the quietest species, could rise to change the course of history. The Resolute had delivered a message to the stars, one that could never be ignored. Humanity had arrived, not as conquerors, but as a force defined by intelligence, courage, and the relentless pursuit of excellence. The galaxy would never see them the same way again.